All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Naresh Mago and with me is Vaibhav Jyotsna Srivastava. The headlines. Nation celebrates its 74th Independence Day today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi unfurls tricolour from the rampart of Red Fort in New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reiterates the country's resolve for Atmanirbhar Bharat and calls to develop vocal for local mindset. The Prime Minister announces launch of National Digital Health Mission from today. Government identifies 7,000 projects from different sectors to bring new revolution in infrastructure. Prime Minister says India is dealing effectively with both terrorism and expansionism. President Ram Nath Kovind says India loves peace but can give befitting reply to misadventure by any country, praises Corona warriors and soldiers for their valor, and President approves 84 gallantry awards for armed forces personnel. The nation is celebrating its 74th Independence Day today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi hoisted the national flag at the ramparts of the historic Red Fort in Delhi and addressed the nation this morning. Mr. Modi was received by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh at the Red Fort. The Prime Minister then inspected the Guard of Honour. The Guard of Honour contingent for the Prime Minister consisted of 1 officer and 24 men each from the Army, Navy, Air Force and Delhi Police. This year, the Guard of Honour was commanded by Lieutenant Colonel Gaurav S. Yewalkar. Before coming to Red Fort, the Prime Minister paid homage to Father of the Nation Mahatma Gandhi at Rajghat. Addressing the nation from the ramparts of the historic Red Fort, Prime Minister Narendra Modi saluted the Corona warriors who've helped the nation fight against the pandemic. He greeted the nation on the occasion of Independence Day and said people breathe in independent India today because of the sacrifices of thousands of heroes.
इस कोरोना के कालखंड में लक्षावधि कोरोना वॉरियर्स, चाहे डॉक्टर हो, नर्सिंग हो, सफाई कर्मी हो, एम्बुलेंस चलाने वाले लोग हो, किस किस के नाम गिनाऊंगा। उन लोगों ने इतने लंबे समय तक जिस प्रकार से सेवा परमो धर्मः इस मंत्र को जी करके दिखाया है, पूर्ण समर्पण भाव से मां भारती के लालों की सेवा की है, ऐसे सभी कोरोना वॉरियर्स को भी मैं आज नमन करता हूं.
He saluted all members of the armed forces and personnel who guard the nation's independence and keep everyone safe. He expressed the confidence that the country will together fight all the challenges that it is facing, including the floods and landslides.
आज जो हम स्वतंत्र भारत में सांस ले रहे हैं, उसके पीछे मां भारती के लाखों बेटे बेटियों, उनका त्याग, उनका बलिदान और मां भारती को आजाद कराने के संकल्प के प्रति उनका समर्पण आज ऐसे सभी हमारे स्वातंत्र सेनानियों का, आजादी के वीरों का, नर बांकुरों का, वीर शहीदों का नमन करने का ये पर्व है. हमारे फौज के जाबाज जवान, हमारे अर्धसैनिक बल, हमारे पुलिस के जवान, सुरक्षा बल से जुड़े हुए हर कोई मां भारती के रक्षा में जुटे रहते हैं, सामान्य मानवीय की सुरक्षा में जुटे रहते हैं. आज उन सबको भी हृदयपूर्वक, आदरपूर्वक स्मरण करने का, उनके महान त्याग तपस्या को नमन करने का पर्व है.
The Prime Minister said India is dealing effectively with both terrorism and expansionism. He said those who challenged India's sovereignty, be it at the LOC or the LAC, have been given a befitting reply in their own language. Mr. Modi asserted that India became a challenge to the forces of expansionism with its freedom struggle. The Prime Minister said that respect for India's sovereignty is supreme for us, and the world has seen this in Ladakh, what our brave soldiers can do to uphold this resolution.
इतनी आपदाओं के बीच ही सीमा पर भी देश के सामर्थ्य को चुनौती देने के दुष्प्रयास हुए, लेकिन एलओसी से लेकर एलएसी तक देश की संप्रभुता पर जिस किसी ने आंख उठाई, देश की सेना ने, हमारे वीर जवानों ने उसका उसी की भाषा में जवाब दिया है। इस संकल्प के लिए हमारे वीर जवान क्या कर सकते हैं, देश क्या कर सकता है, ये लद्दाख में दुनिया ने देख लिया है।
The Prime Minister said India will celebrate the 75th year of independence next year and a huge festival is in front of the people. He pointed out that there was no period of slavery in the past when there was no attempt for freedom. He said all attempts were made to root out countries' cultures and traditions in the past. He said the idea of expansionism led to the enslavement of many countries, but even in the midst of fierce wars, India did not falter in its freedom struggle. The Prime Minister said, in the midst of the corona pandemic, 130 crore Indians have pledged to build an Atmanirbhar Bharat. Mr. Modi expressed the confidence that India will realize this dream. He said he has firm belief on the abilities, confidence and potential of Indians.
कोरोना वैश्विक महामारी के बीच 130 करोड़ भारतीयों ने संकल्प लिया, संकल्प आत्मनिर्भर बनने का, और आत्मनिर्भर भारत आज हर हिंदुस्तान के मन मस्तिष्क में छाया हुआ है। आत्मनिर्भर भारत, ये सपना संकल्प में परिवर्तित देख रहे हैं। आत्मनिर्भर भारत ये एक प्रकार से शब्द नहीं, ये आज 130 करोड़ देशवासियों के लिए मंत्र बन गया है।
The Prime Minister said that today India can not only feed its people but many countries of the world. Mr. Modi said India's share in the world economy should increase, for which India has to be self-reliant. He said he is confident that measures like opening up the space sector will generate many new employment opportunities for the youth and provide further avenues to hone their skills and potential. The Prime Minister gave the call for vocal for local. Mr. Modi said Atmanirbhar Bharat means not just reducing imports, but also increasing skills, creativity and abilities. He said India has to go beyond reducing the imports.
वोकल फॉर लोकल, हमारे जो स्थानीय उत्पाद है उसका हमने गौरवगान करना चाहिए। हम अपनी चीजों का गौरवगान नहीं करेंगे तो उसको अच्छा बनने का अवसर भी नहीं मिलेगा, उसकी हिम्मत नहीं बढ़ेगी। आइए हम मिलकर के संकल्प लें, आजादी के 75 साल के पर्व की ओर जब कदम रख रहे हैं तब वोकल फॉर लोकल का जीवन मंत्र बन जाए और हम मिलकर के भारत की उस ताकत को हम बढ़ावा दे दें।
He said only a few months ago India used to import N95 masks, PPE kits and ventilators. The Prime Minister stated that today India is not only fulfilling its own needs but has also come forward to help other countries. Mr. Modi said FDI inflows have risen by 18% in the past year.
एक के बाद एक दूसरे से जुड़े हुए हम जो रिफॉर्म्स कर रहे हैं उसको दुनिया बहुत बारीकी से देख रही है और उसी का कारण है बीते वर्ष भारत में एफडीआई में अब तक के सारे रिकॉर्ड तोड़ दिए। बीते वर्ष भारत में एफडीआई में 18% की वृद्धि हुई है और इसलिए कोरोना काल में भी दुनिया की बड़ी बड़ी कंपनियां भारत की ओर रुख ले रही हैं।
Mr. Modi said many big companies of the world are turning to India today. He said the country must not only go ahead with the mantra of Make in India, but Make for World as well. He said there is a need to give a new direction to the overall infrastructure development of the country to move India towards modernity at a fast pace. He said the National Infrastructure Pipeline project will enable this, and the country is moving towards spending more than 100 lakh crore rupees on this. He said about 7,000 projects of different sectors have been identified to bring a new revolution in infrastructure.
नेशनल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर पाइपलाइन प्रोजेक्ट, इस पर 110 लाख करोड़ उससे भी ज्यादा खर्च किए जाएंगे। इसके लिए अलग अलग सेक्टर्स में लगभग 7,000 प्रोजेक्ट की पहचान कर ली गई है। इससे देश के ओवरऑल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेवलपमेंट को एक नई दिशा भी मिलेगी, एक नई गति भी मिलेगी।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi also announced the launch of National Digital Health Mission from today. He said the National Digital Health Mission will bring a new revolution in India's health sector and all Indians will get health IDs.
आज से नेशनल डिजिटल हेल्थ मिशन आरंभ किया जा रहा है। भारत के हेल्थ सेक्टर में ये एक नई क्रांति ले आएगा। इलाज में आने वाली परेशानियां कम करने के लिए टेक्नोलॉजी का बहुत सुविचारित रूप से उपयोग होगा। प्रत्येक भारतीय को हेल्थ आईडी दी जाएगी। ये हेल्थ आईडी प्रत्येक भारतीय के स्वास्थ्य खाते की तरह काम करेगी।
The Prime Minister said it was unthinkable earlier that crores of rupees would be directly transferred in the Jan Dhan accounts for the poor in the country.
गरीबों के जनधन खाते में लाखों करोड़ों रुपए सीधे ट्रांसफर हो जाएंगे। कौन सोच सकता था कि किसानों की भलाई के लिए एपीएमसी जैसा एक्ट इसमें इतने बदलाव हो जाएंगे। कौन सोचता था हमारे व्यापारी आलम पे जो लटकती तलवार थी एसेंशियल कमोडिटी एक्ट इतने सालों के बाद वो भी बदल जाएगा। कौन सोचता था कि हमारा स्पेस सेक्टर हमारे देश के युवाओं के लिए खुला कर दिया जाएगा।
Mr. Modi stressed that women empowerment has a huge role to be played in Atmanirbhar Bharat. He informed that of the 40 crore Jan Dhan accounts opened in the country, about 22 crore accounts belong to women. He said that in April, May and June this year, about 30,000 crore rupees have been directly transferred to the accounts of women. He said Digital India too has a great role to play in making the nation self-reliant. Mr. Modi said before 2014, only 5 dozen panchayats in the country were connected with optical fiber.
5 दर्जन पंचायतों में ऑप्टिकल फाइबर था। गत 5 वर्ष में 1.5 लाख ग्राम पंचायतों तक ऑप्टिकल फाइबर नेटवर्क पहुंच चुका। सभी पंचायतों में पहुंचने के लक्ष्य के साथ हमने काम शुरू किया था। जो 1 लाख पंचायतें बाकी हैं वहां भी तेजी से काम चल रहा है। लेकिन बदली पड़ी हुई परिस्थिति में गांव की भी डिजिटल इंडिया में भागीदारी अनिवार्य बन गई। गांव के लोगों को भी इस प्रकार की ऑनलाइन सुविधाओं की जरूरत बढ़ गई है। इसको ध्यान में रखते हुए पहले जो हमने कार्यक्रम बनाया था हर पंचायत तक पहले पहुंचेंगे, लेकिन आज मैं आपसे बताना चाहूंगा कि अब हमने तय किया है कि सभी 6 लाख से ज्यादा जो हमारे गांव हैं उन सभी गांवों में ऑप्टिकल फाइबर नेटवर्क पहुंचाया जाएगा।
The Prime Minister said the Jal Jeevan Mission was announced from the Red Fort last year and now more than 1 lakh houses are getting water connection every day. Prime Minister said education has great importance in building a self-reliant India. Keeping this in mind, Mr. Modi said a new national education policy was brought. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu has greeted the people on the occasion of Independence Day. He conveyed his greetings and good wishes to the people of the country. Mr. Naidu paid tributes and remembered the brave freedom fighters who made countless sacrifices to build an independent nation. Home Minister Amit Shah today remembered nation's freedom fighters and brave soldiers on the occasion of the Independence Day. In a series of tweets, Mr. Shah expressed pride that Prime Minister Narendra Modi is realizing the dream of an independent, strong and capable India as seen by the freedom fighters.
President Ramnath Kovind hailed the efforts of the centre, states and union territories in effective management of COVID-19. Addressing the nation on the eve of the 74th Independence Day yesterday, Mr. Kovind said that the celebrations this year will be restrained due to the global pandemic. He praised the efforts of Corona warriors who went much beyond their call of duty to save lives and ensure essential services. He said for a country so vast and diverse with high population density, effective management and containment of the coronavirus required superhuman efforts.
For a country so vast and diverse with high population density, meeting this challenge requires superhuman efforts. All state governments took measures in accordance with local circumstances. People also supported wholeheartedly. With our committed efforts, we have succeeded in containing the magnitude of the pandemic and saving a large number of lives.
Hinting at the recent border skirmishes, Mr. Kovind said that Indian soldiers gallantly defended the borders of the country from all misadventures of expansion. He remembered the martyrs who sacrificed their lives protecting the nation's pride and said that the entire nation salutes them for their bravery. Speaking of the new education policy, Mr. Kovind said that its implementation will lead to a new quality education system. President Ramnath Kovind has approved 84 gallantry awards for defense personnel, including 9 Shaurya Chakra. The Kirti Chakra has been posthumously awarded to Abdul Rashid Khalas, Head Constable, Jammu and Kashmir Police. Those from the Army who've been awarded the Shaurya Chakra for counter-terrorist operations in Jammu and Kashmir are Lieutenant Colonel Krishan Singh Rawat from the Elite Special Forces, Major Anil Urs, and Havildar Alok Kumar Dubey. Wing Commander Vishak Nair from the Indian Air Force was also awarded the Shaurya Chakra. The Shaurya Chakra is awarded for gallantry otherwise than in the face of the enemy. It is the third highest gallantry award in peacetime. The President also approved Sena Medal Gallantry to 60 Army personnel, Nav Sena Medal Gallantry to 4 from the Navy, and 5 Vayu Sena Medal Gallantry for the Air Force. Bar to Sena Medal has been approved for 5 Army personnel. The President has also approved 19 mention in dispatches to the Army personnel for their significant contributions in different military operations, which include 8 posthumous for Operation Meghdut and Operation Rakshak.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has said that the government is doing everything to keep the morale of armed forces high and meet the operational requirements. He said the country's forces are at the forefront in the defence of the nation. Mr. Singh said history is a witness to the fact that India has never attacked anywhere and any time to capture the land of another country. He said if any enemy country attacks on India, then it will be given a befitting reply. Ladakh is celebrating its first Independence Day as a union territory. At the historic polo ground, Ladakh Lieutenant Governor R.K. Mathur will unfurl the tricolour at 10 this morning. More from our correspondent.
In the new status, the youngest union territory, Ladakh, is celebrating Independence Day today. Due to COVID-19 pandemic in the region, the celebrations are scaled down to hoist the national flag and addressed by the LG R.K. Mathur and conclude with the national anthem. However, the arrangements of couple of cultural audiovisual shows representing Leh and Kargil will be screened at the venue. Similarly, Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Council's Leh and Kargil CEC's Gyalpi Wangyal and Firoz Ahmed Khan also unfurled the tricolour at different functions. Ramesh Chandra, All India Radio News, Leh.
Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has appealed to people to celebrate the Independence Day while keeping in mind the health guidelines related to COVID-19. More from our correspondent.
On country's 74th Independence Day, Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath congratulated the people of his state and said that the day reminds us about the sacrifices made by our freedom fighters and national heroes. Heavy security arrangements are in place at state borders and other important places on this occasion. All government buildings and other institutions have been illuminated with beautiful tricolour lights. The state government has also ordered the release of 74 prisoners from different jails to mark the country's 74th Independence Day. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has launched a portal, Shrijan, which is a one-stop shop online portal that provides access to the vendors to take up items for indigenization. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Singh said this will help the industry partners to play an active role in the goal of self-reliance in the defence sector. Pursuant to Atmanirbhar Bharat announcement, Department of Defence Production has developed an indigenization portal, srijandefence.gov.in, as opportunities for Make in India in Defence. The Defence Minister called upon the Indian industry partners to show complete commitment and take proactive participation in the pursuit of indigenization and self-reliance in the defence sector. He said self-reliance in defence manufacturing has been envisioned not only as domestic requirement but also with export perspective and can be made possible with concerted efforts.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. Nation celebrates its 74th Independence Day today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi unfurls the tricolour from the ramparts of Red Fort in New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi reiterates country's resolve for Atmanirbhar Bharat and calls to develop vocal for local mindset. Prime Minister announces the launch of National Digital Health Mission from today. Government identifies 7,000 projects from different sectors to bring new revolution in infrastructure. Prime Minister says India is dealing effectively with both terrorism and expansionism. President Ramnath Kovind says India loves peace but can give befitting reply to misadventure by any country. Praises Corona warriors and soldiers for their valor. And President approves 84 gallantry awards for the armed forces personnel. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
इंस्पायर अवार्ड्स मानक देश के कक्षा 6 से 10 तक के लाखों स्कूली बच्चों से उनके इनोवेटिव आइडियाज और इनोवेशंस आमंत्रित कर रहा है, जिसमें से 1 लाख बच्चों को पुरस्कृत किया जाएगा और उन्हें जिला, राज्य और राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर भाग लेने का मौका मिलेगा। राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर विजेता 60 बेस्ट आइडियाज और इनोवेशंस को इंक्यूबेशन सहयोग भी प्रदान किया जाएगा। ज्यादा जानकारी के लिए www.inspireawards-dst.gov.in पर जाएं।
The pilgrimage to Vaishno Devi Shrine in Jammu and Kashmir will resume from tomorrow. The yatra was under suspension for nearly 5 months in view of the coronavirus pandemic since March 18. Chief Executive Officer of Sri Mata Vaishno Devi Shrine Board, Ramesh Kumar, said during the first week there will be a cap of 2,000 pilgrims each day, of which 1,900 will be from Jammu and Kashmir and the remaining 100 from outside. Mr. Kumar said that people will be allowed to undertake the pilgrimage after registration only through online in order to avoid any assembly at the Yatra registration counter. The government has said that India has exported 23 lakh personal protective equipment PPE kits to 5 countries in 1 month. These countries are the USA, the UK, the UAE, Senegal and Slovenia. The Union Health Ministry has said this has substantially aided India to position itself in the global export market of PPEs. In view of the strengthened domestic production capacity, last month the government had permitted export of PPEs.
India has conducted a record high of nearly 8,50,000 COVID tests in a single day yesterday. This has taken the cumulative tests to over 2,76 lakh. Union Health Ministry said World Health Organization WHO has advised that a country needs 140 tests per day per million population. The national average of India is 603 tests per day per million population, with focused efforts of the centre and effective implementation by the states and union territories. Sikkim reported 149 new COVID-19 cases yesterday, the state's highest single-day spike. With this, the number of COVID-19 cases in Sikkim crossed the 1,000 mark. More from our correspondent.
According to a health bulletin issued by Director General of Health, Dr. Pemba Chering Bhutia, on Friday evening, Sikkim's total COVID-19 cases stood at 1,080, active cases at 456, and the number of cured and discharged patients was 623, while the state has reported 1 death so far. Of the 149 new cases, East District reported 6 and South District reported 143 cases. All the cases from South District are of returnees and contacts from a guest house of a private pharmaceutical company in Samardung, South Sikkim. With Sankar Sarkar, Parijat Sharma from Gangtok for AIR.
The RBI board has approved the transfer of 57,128 crore rupees as surplus to the central government for the accounting year 2019-20. In a statement, the RBI has informed that it has also decided to maintain a contingency risk buffer at 5.5%. These decisions were taken at the 584th meeting of RBI Central Board. India's foreign exchange reserves have surged by $3.623 billion to reach a new all-time high of $538.191 billion in the week ended 7th August 2020. Foreign currency assets, a major part of the overall reserves, rose by $1.464 billion to $492.293 billion. In the previous week, the reserves had increased by $11.938 billion to end at $534.568 billion. After a successful launch of a unique initiative to take artificial intelligence AI to schools through ATL AI modules, Atal Innovation Mission, Niti Aayog in collaboration with NASSCOM has launched the ATL AI Step Up module for students on the eve of India's Independence Day in order to drive AI education and innovation to the next level in schools across the country. Now let us take a look at today's weather update. On to the north, in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature in Jammu was 26 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 35. The city may have a partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm or dust storm. In Srinagar, the minimum temperature was 21 degrees, while the maximum will be 35. In Gilgit, the temperatures will hover between 19 and 39 with a partly cloudy sky. In Muzaffarabad, partly cloudy sky with possibility of rain or thunderstorm is expected today. In Dehradun, the temperature will hover between 24 and 32. The city may have a generally cloudy sky with a few spells of rain or thunder showers. The national capital, Delhi, may witness a generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The minimum temperature was recorded at 25 and the maximum will be 33 degrees Celsius. Union Home Minister Amit Shah spoke to Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani and Chief Secretary regarding excessive waterlogging in certain areas of the state. Few districts in the state are facing the issue of excessive waterlogging due to incessant rain in the past few days. Mr. Shah assured the state of full cooperation to handle the situation. He informed that 14 teams of NDRF have been kept on alert in the state and if required, other teams will also be sent for handling the situation. In a significant step towards space exploration, a team of researchers from the Indian Space Research Organization ISRO and the Indian Institute of Science IISc in Bengaluru has developed a sustainable process to make space bricks on the lunar surface. The process enables making load-bearing bricks by using lunar soil, bacteria and guava beans. Named as space bricks, it could be used to assemble structures for habitation on the moon surface in future.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. The Asian Age reports that in his address to the nation on the eve of the 74th Independence Day, President Ramnath Kovind appreciated the superhuman efforts in containing the magnitude of the coronavirus pandemic. Business Standard writes that COVID-19 has accelerated digital payment adoption by 5 to 10 years. Ayushman Bharat expanded to cover missing middle, writes The Times of India, adding the centre plans to expand the Ayushman Bharat insurance framework to include 45 crore non-poor population. SC holds Prashant Bhushan guilty of contempt of court, says The Pioneer. Deposits in Jan Dhan accounts exceed pre-lockdown level, reports The Financial Express. Under the headline, India-China military talks hit a roadblock, the Hindustan Times says that despite 5 commander-level meets, stalemate on return to pre-April positions. And finally, under former errand boys' free app Dukaan rescues retailers, the Statesman says a small-town engineer and former errand boy Sumit Shah's freely available app Dukaan has helped over 1.5 lakh stores go online during this prolonged COVID-19 turmoil.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Nation celebrates its 74th Independence Day today. Prime Minister Narendra Modi unfurls tricolour from the rampart of Red Fort in New Delhi. Prime Minister reiterates country's resolve for Atmanirbhar Bharat and calls to develop vocal for local mindset. Prime Minister announces launch of National Digital Health Mission from today. Government identifies 7,000 projects from different sectors to bring new revolution in infrastructure. Prime Minister says India is dealing effectively with both terrorism and expansionism. President Ramnath Kovind says India loves peace but can give befitting reply to misadventure by any country. Praises Corona warriors and soldiers for their valor. And President approves 84 gallantry awards for armed forces personnel. For details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com. And with that, We end the morning news. Have a nice day.